every now and again you have to go to the dentist to get a tooth pulled, and that tooth will ache for a while. That must be what it's like to be interviewed by me. But JT Cruz still willing to get that tooth pulled. So I'll tell you what, the Cavaliers have been pulling some teeth too and making opponents not feel comfortable. What's going right for you guys overall that you hope continues to go right?
I'd say the biggest thing that's going right for us at this point is we continue to improve week over week as a football team, which is what you want to see out of a group, right? You never want to peak at this point in the season. You want to continue to climb and try to play your best ball as late as possible into the season. Our guys are still coming out ready to work every single day and trying to get better. And that's all we can ask for at this point. And so kind of the goal for us is every Friday we want to be a little bit better than the one we were before that. And I think we're continuing to do that as a team.
I'm going to bring up a subject that you might not want to talk about, but do you want your kids to know about the points standings right now, or is that not a big deal? Because there's still a lot of football left.
Yeah, there's a lot of football left, and it's something that I'd be lying if we said we didn't keep an eye on it as coaches. But honestly, for the kids, for the players, we might mention every now and again, like, you're playing Glass, which everybody knows that's a regional opponent. And so you say, hey, this one's going to have big implications as far as playoff seeding and things like that. But as far as week in, week out, the specifics of where we stand and who's above us, who's below us, that sort of thing, that's not really anything we get into with the kids. It's our mission is Brookville right now, and that's what we're focused on.
I'm going to talk about the non-mission stuff real quick first. When you were at Glass, were y'all in a battle for a seed at any point?
Honestly, man, it feels like we must have been. Right. And I couldn't even tell you where we were. I mean, we were pretty good in, I think it was the 18 and 19 seasons. And honestly, I can't even remember where we were seated. I do know, one year we had to travel to Blacksburg in the regional championship, and the next year we had to travel to Salem for the regional championship. So we definitely weren't number one. But as far as like how tight the points were or anything like that, I honestly couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Well, that's a point to be made up because you weren't number one, which means you got to travel for the region. And I know it's a long way down the road, but how important is it? 1 and 2, I would say, some people would say it's not a big deal, but it's a different thing going right now to Danville or playing at Forest. Most people that are associated with Forest are going to want to play in Forest.
Sure.
So how important is 2 and 1?
I mean, yeah, it's important, and at this point, all we can do is control what we control, right? I mean, sure. The only way that you improve your overall standings is by going out and winning every Friday, which that's the goal either way, right? And so it's something to keep an eye on for sure. But I mean, again, at this point, like I said, man, the mission is Brookville, and winning against a good Brookville team that just so happens to help us in our playoff chase too.
It's funny, though, because I think anybody in the Seminole District, because you have 3 non-district games, you're always kind of keeping maybe a side eye on what did those people do that I beat in terms of, because you never know when it could come down to 1 point or a fraction.
So, last year with us in Salem, it came,
right.
It was like the 5th tiebreaker, right? We were tied with points, and then it was common opponent, which was LCA. We were tied there. I mean, it went way on down.
Right.
I mean, that's just the nature of the beast, right? All you can do is control what you can control and try and go out and win every game you play.
Very cliche before we talk about Brookville to say the offensive line's been playing well. I know you pump them every week. Pump them this week. How'd they do last Friday night?
Again, man, those guys are the backbone of our team. Like I will sing those guys' praises each and every week, man, because it's one of those position groups that maybe doesn't get as much love as they need to, and that's across football. I think you and I have talked about that in the past, man. The offensive line is probably the most important position group on offense, I feel, at least in high school and college football. Like I said, you get to the NFL quarterback, I think maybe takes a little bit more. But we're talking high school football, like it doesn't get more important than those 5 guys on offense. And so Jacob Pizowski, Logan Candace, Cole Daniel, Tyrese Callaway, Caden Janney, our tight end Spencer Sloan, and then our fullback Wrigley Colling, man, all of those guys are doing a heck of a job to go out there each and every week and establish the run game for us, which is like that's our offense, man. If we can go out there and get that established, we're going to be successful.
You guys were good last year, but before that, I mean, it's not like success had been overwhelming for Jefferson Forest. With that being said, recent history, success, are you guys still the hunter, or are you now the hunted, in your opinion?
It's tough because, going into every game, you feel like you're going to get the team's best shot, right? Like, I think maybe we snuck up on a few people last year, especially early in the season. But we're definitely not sneaking up on anybody at this point. Going into that last game, we knew we were going to get their best shot. Going into Brookville, we know we're going to get their best shot. I mean, they're a rivalry game. They're fighting for their playoff life at this point. So yeah, I mean, they are trying to hunt us just as much as we're trying to hunt them.
I don't know if you answered the question. Are you the hunter or the hunted right now?
Man, I think it's both. Like, why can't we be both?
Well, and no, you hit on a good point right there. I mean, I think even the hunted also has to be the hunter, because if you aren't the hunter, I can argue you're not aggressive. I can argue you don't have a killer instinct. I can argue, until the cows come home, if you only view yourself as the hunted, because, I mean, how many cartoons did you watch when you were growing up? Did the hunted, was he as hungry as the hunter?
Exactly, man. And that's, and you talk about improving as a team week over week and going out to work every single day. Like, that's, you got to have that mentality that, man, like, we're not necessarily, we're not hunting our opponent, man. We're hunting our ceiling. Like, we want to again reach the pinnacle of our potential as a football team. And the only way you do that is going out and hunting every single day of practice, like trying to get better, working. Like, it's hard, man. It's hard to go out there every day with focus and intentionality to get better at your craft. But that's what you got to do if you want to keep improving.
If you had to pick out one guy, and I know coaches hate this question, but if you had to pick out one guy that is bringing the hunter out of your group, who's that guy on your team?
The one guy that is bringing the hunter out of our group, man, Tyrese Callaway, as a guy who he's been through it all in our program. That kid has been a part of JF football longer than I have, and maybe longer than anybody ever has, in the sense that, so he played JV as an 8th grader. This was during the spring COVID season. So he was an 8th grader, played JV football then, which is not something that a lot of 8th graders do, but because we didn't have middle school football, he wanted to play. That was his opportunity. And then 9th grade all the way through his senior year right now, he's been on the varsity team. And so he's one of those few guys that were still a part of that original group, and we went out there and we were not very good, and we were 1-8, and now, experiencing a lot more success, I'll say, than we had definitely that first year. And so as he's grown, the program's grown, and so, like, he gets it, man. He gets what it takes to put the work in and be successful. And so he really, really pushes to hold other guys to that same level of accountability. And he's doing a great, great job for us from a leadership standpoint. Him and Logan Candace both. There are two guards, 2 defensive tackles, and man, they push dudes out there every day to get better.
I promise we're going to talk about Brookville, but before we do, what went right against Glass?
Defense played really, really well. And obviously you shut somebody out, and that's the easy thing to say, but I mean, Glass is a really, really explosive team. And I mean, you saw it towards the end of the game, like, they would catch a pass here or there, and all of a sudden it's a 30-yard game before you even know what happens. And so to be able to go out and hit our fits, hit our assignments, hit our drops, again, to the level of focus and attention to detail every single play that we did, I mean, that's impressive. That's impressive. And so supremely impressed with our defensive play. And then maybe something that, obviously you block a point and you score a touchdown, that gets noted from a special team standpoint, but across the board on special teams, I thought we executed really, really well. Kickoff wise, I think we pinned them deep in their territory pretty much every time, which is huge from a field position and just controlling the flow of the game standpoint. And then, like I said, getting out there and blocking a punt and getting a touchdown and kind of getting the ball rolling for us was huge from a momentum standpoint.
We're talking on a Wednesday night, so the quote-unquote hitting days have kind of been done a little bit. How's practice gone so far this week?
Practice has been good. Especially today. A little bit of a lull yesterday in practice, not as intense as we needed things, not as I guess up-tempo, high-speed, high-energy as we needed things. And so we really challenged our guys and pushed them like, man, we got to come out today and we got to have a really, really good practice. And they rose to that challenge. Like, the energy was great. The competition was great. We put our guys in some different situations to see how they would respond. And I mean, it was a really, really good practice. I felt really good coming off the practice field today.
Somebody comes up to you and says, Brookville's not very good. Their record's not very good. What do you say?
Man, they like this, and this is the God's honest truth. They're improving every week. I mean, it's that we followed them in the schedule, and so I've seen a lot of Brookville play just because whoever we're playing that week, like they played them the week before, and so every week you see them on scout film, and it's just like any first year coach. It's like I was my first year. Like, you're searching and you're trying to find an identity and figure out who's who and what's what in your program, and your coaching staff is still kind of meshing together and finding their roles, and it seems like they've really started to settle on that the past couple of weeks, is what they're doing offensively and defensively, and starting to find an identity and who their big time guys are in the program. And so you can see, like, just week over week, like the improvement that they've had. So like to sit here and say that they're not a very good football team, like I would disagree with that statement. Now, could you have said that early in the year? Maybe. But again, that's what you're going to get as a first year coach in a new program. Like it's going to take a little bit of time to get it together. And I think they're getting it together right now.
And see, that's the funny thing. You bring up coaching too and saying it's the first year coach. Well, it's not Mark Lindenberg's first year. It's his first year in a long time, but it's not his first year. How can a coach be respected, in your opinion, when maybe the kids don't know him, but my gosh, that resume is really, really good?
I mean, and that's the thing, right? They're teenagers. Like, I don't care who it is. You know, if it's a Hall of Fame coach, like you still got to go in and you got to win those kids over. Not just one time. Like you got to do it every day. You got to build that trust with them every day. I mean, that old adage, like they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Like that has never applied more than it does with teenagers today. Like they got to know that you care about them, that you want them to be successful, that you're going to do everything that you can to put them in the best possible position to succeed. And if they know that and they feel that way, like they're going to run through a brick wall for you. But it takes time to build that level of trust, right? Especially, you know, a lot of those guys, seniors, they've played for a whole different coaching staff. So the culture, the mentality, everything that you're trying to do is all brand new to them. And some kids buy into it, some kids don't. And that's just the reality of being a new coach in a new setting. And yeah, Mark's been the head coach there before, but it's a different group of kids now than it was then.
People probably, I don't want to give you and Larry and Burf too much credit that said people knew you, but you were local when you came in. I mean, Jeff Woody is a Brookville legend, not local in terms of he came from Charlottesville. John Poindexter, Jefferson Forest, been away a long time. Mark Lindbergh, like we talked about, been away a long time. Was it easier to win kids over if, you know, I hate to say maybe they know who you are, but you'd coach against some of these kids? Was it easier for you guys to win your group over your first year?
I mean, honestly, I don't think those kids knew any more about me as a coach than the Brookville kids knew about Mark. I mean, I'm sure they knew more about Mark going into it. Like, those kids are not going to read through my resume. They knew I came from Glass. Like, that's all they knew, really. You know, they didn't know much about me as a coach. They didn't know my personality or anything like that. And so again, like it takes work and it takes time to go in and demand accountability from kids while also trying to build a relationship with them. I mean, that's the tough part, right? Like, you got to go in and ask these kids to give you 100% before they even really know who you are. And again, some of them are going to do it, and some of it's just going to take time. And once you hit that critical mass where probably, you know, 2/3 of your team are willing to do it, well, then that last third, they're going to fall in line. And if they don't fall in line, then you know, they were never going to be any good anyways.
Well,
you know, it takes time.
And I think you hit the nail on the head right there. I was a weird bird when I was in high school because I was a student manager, but I could probably tell you all the coaches in the Seminole District. I don't think if you asked people now, or at least maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I don't think people could tell you who coached at an opposing district school always, because they might know the kids they hang out with or see, you know, around town or whatever, but I don't think most people know, you know, who coaches where and knows his personality like you were talking about. I mean, they might have known you coached the class, but I mean, it's not like JT Cruz was, you know, president of the United States.
Right. And even more than that, man, like some kids, they're just not even really into football in general. Like some of these kids don't even watch NFL on TV. So like they don't even know, like, you know what I mean? Like the most high profile level of football, like they have no concept. They have no idea. They just like playing.
Do you have to talk your kids down on Brookville Week?
When you say talk them down, what do you mean?
Okay, well, when you were at Glass, did you have to talk your kids down on Heritage Week? It's a rivalry game.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's the same message week in, week out. Like, you know, you can't let the game be too big for you. You can't let the moment be too big for you. At the end of the day, like, it's we got to go out, we got to do our job every play. And like, whatever happens on that play, we got to go out and we got to do our job the next play, and the next play, and the next play. And that doesn't change whoever you're playing, whatever the situation is.
Okay, but with all due respect, it's not the same. I mean, I know that JF and Brookville has kind of maybe been like Alabama and Auburn a little bit, but it's not the same because, you know, it's Brookville for JF.
Sure.
And for JF, it's Brookville. Or, you know, you get what I'm saying. I mean, it's not the same. So, again, I'll kind of repeat the question, and I know you might give the same answer, but do you have to get your kids' emotion down maybe in the first quarter? Because I sense that's where they could come out more on emotion and adrenaline rather than knowing the assignments and knowing what they're supposed to do.
I mean, so here's the honest truth. Like, I'm never going to try and lower a kid's level of energy. Like, we're always trying to push for that. And so honestly, like going into EC Glass, that was the challenge to the team. And when I say the team, everybody involved, I mean, going into it, it was whichever sideline has more energy, like that is the team that is going to be more successful. And again, you have some guys in your program that are great Monday through Thursday guys, but they don't necessarily have a huge role on Friday. And so it can be hard for them to get juiced up and amped up, but those are the guys you need it from the most. I mean, when your sideline is bringing great energy, like that's the kids on the field feed from that. And so I'm never going to try and talk my kids down from that. Now, again, it's can we maintain that level of energy through the whole game? Like that can be the challenge as the game ebbs and flows. And it's easy when you're going out and things are being successful. But when you turn the ball over, can you maintain that same level of energy? When you go 3 and out on offense and at the punt, can you maintain that same level of energy? And so to a certain extent, like it can be a little bit easier when you're playing a rival like Brookville or like EC Glass because your kids want to be up for that and they want to be intense for that.
So is over energy a myth?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's a myth.
Okay.
Like, I truly do. I truly do. Like I've never seen a kid that's just now like again, can they be so over amped that like they can't control themselves? I mean, there's like one kid that I can think of that was a football player when I was coaching at EC Glass where we had to tone him down a little bit, and that was like it was the morning of the game, and this dude was like bouncing off the walls. Like, man, you gotta hold it in a little bit. At least let's get to 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock before we start letting that thing loose.
You worried about yourself
Going into a game?
or going in Friday?
Man, I'm always worried.
Right, but I mean, my point is, you are you're a Cavalier, I know now, but you graduated from Brookville, you played at Brookville, your brother's the AD at Brookville, you got a lot of Brookville blood that was flowing in you at one point. Are you worried about yourself with the rival because
Honestly,
you went there?
No, it's and so and it means Larry and Randy and Burf and all the Brookville guys. They were kind of talking about it with our kids today and how much it means to them. And like, yeah, it is something to me, but it's different because I played at Brookville, but man, I played and coached at other places longer than I was at Brookville, and Brookville's special to me because it was my high school and I had some really good times there. But ultimately, like, I want to beat the crap out of Brookville just like I want to beat the crap out of everybody else. Like, that's I want to beat every team that we play.
Well, it's good bragging rights, I feel like, at the Thanksgiving dinner table or when you guys go out to the pumpkin patch or whatever with Brother Jeff.
Yeah, and like if he was still coaching there, it would be a little bit different. He's the AD though, so he's worried about like, finding places for people to park and who's on the pass list and making sure the lights don't cut off in the middle of the game and they're able to play the anthem and all that stuff. So like
and making sure everybody behaves.
yeah, that too. That's a big part of it.
So if he was on the staff, though, it might be a little bit more intense
for sure.
you, but
for sure. Okay. Yeah, and honestly, haven't had too many of those crossovers, especially like when we're both in competitive positions. So the only one I can think of, honestly, off the top of my head, my first year at Glass, he was the head coach at Amherst, and we played them, but we were pretty good at Glass, and they weren't very good at Amherst. And then the following year at Brookville. He was at Brookville. I was still at Glass, and again, we were pretty good, and they were on somewhat of a down year. And honestly, that was really the only two crossovers we had because then, he got the AD job at Brookville and haven't really been across from the sidelines from him since.
Outside of winning on the scoreboard, which is that's the biggest win you can get. What's the one area where you guys have to win on Friday night? Is it a quarter? Is it a position? What is it?
It's the same as every night, man. We gotta go out, we gotta dominate up front. I mean, if we're able to do that, then things are gonna go our way. And again, that's the backbone of our team. That's the offensive and defensive lines. Like, those are the guys that we feel like if they're able to go out and get control of the game, then things are gonna go our way.